I sold a wig. That's where I'm at. That's the point that I'm at, okay? So how did I get here? How did I get to the point where I am going to have to file bankruptcy? So a couple of years ago, I got a vehicle from this place called the Auto Connection. I don't know if y'all know what the Auto Connection is, but their mascot is a dog named Matt, and they have the most unrealistic down payments, but the down payments be legit. It be true. Like one time they were running a special and the down payments was $1, okay? $1. And literally that's what they were charging people for their down payments. They don't tell you all the extra fees that go into you only putting that dollar down payment down. That's not the deal that I got. I actually put down, it was a couple of hundred. It wasn't a huge down payment, not nowhere near as much as I put down on my current vehicle. But I got the vehicle and I turned it back in because I end up losing my job and going on unemployment. And I asked them, I'm like, is there anything that y'all can do to help me out? Because I'm on unemployment. I don't have a job. And with unemployment, it's like, you don't get that much, okay? It was chump change back then. And I asked them, is there any way you can lower the payments? And even if it extends the loan, can you lower the payments just for right now until I find another job? They wouldn't do it. And during this time, tax season was approaching. So I told them, just let me get to tax season. I will be able to catch up on the payments. But I knew that even after then, I would still be in the same predicament unless I found a job. So they didn't want to do that. I end up telling them to come get the car. They waited months before they came and got the car. Auctioned it off, and then sued me. Took me to court and tried to garnish my wages. The first time they took me to court, I wasn't working. So, was I working? I might have been working, but I wasn't. I think I was working like part-time for Amazon or something like that. I don't remember, but for some reason, it was like they couldn't garnish me because I wasn't making enough. There's limitations that, depending on your state, that the state gives these type of cases as far as wage garnishments, where if you're not making a certain amount of money, they cannot touch your wages. You have to be able to survive out here and eat. Even though Michael Wayne Investments, aka the Auto Connection, they don't care about if you can eat or not. They don't care about if you have a roof over your head. They don't even care if you have the vehicle. They want the money that they would have gotten out of you if you would have kept the vehicle and paid on the loan. They auctioned the car off, and when they auctioned the car off, they actually got the value of the car. Okay, the market value of this car was probably about $2,000, if that. And they got the $2,000. So of course they took me to court to get the remainder, okay, of what they would have got if I would have kept the car. Every job that I went to, every job that I had, they followed me, kept sending wage garnishments. But I never had a job where I was making enough for them to take any wages or get any payment. They were determined that they was going to get this money. Back when they first took me, they were saying that I owed them like $8,000. Even though this car, well, no, I think it was less than that. It probably was like $6,000. Even though the car was only worth $2,000 and they got the market value. They got that through the auction. When I went to court, I told him, the guy was like, well, what can you pay? I said, nothing. I can't pay anything. When I tried to pay something, what I could pay then wasn't enough. So now I can't pay anything. He was like, you can't pay $20. You can't pay $30. No. Why didn't you let me pay $20 or $30 when I told you I had lost my job and I was on unemployment and I wasn't getting that much? $30 wasn't enough then, so why is it enough now? I told him I can't pay anything, and left the courtroom, so on and so forth, and they just kept following me. So now, fast forward to where we are today, okay? I finally got a job where I am making enough for them to get some of my wages. So they sent out a garnishment. And yeah, that's what's going on. Reading over the court documents with my boss. And these people are literally trying to take me for over $15,000. About 6,000, almost 7,000 is for the vehicle itself, and the remainder, the rest of that, is for interest, court fees, so on and so forth. $15,000 for a car that I don't have, for a car that I had almost 7 years ago. I'm like, there is no way. So it has caused some stressful situations on my job because now I'm not getting what I was getting because of this garnishment, and I still have other bills. I have a car loan that for a car that I currently have that is also overpriced. Okay, overpriced, $23,000 for this loan for this car that's a 2017, and the market value for that car is about 7 to 8,000, depending on who you ask. Another bad loan, high interest rate. I think the interest rate, if I'm not mistaken, is like 14.64 or something like that, or it might be 15.64, but it's very high. When I got the car that I have now, I was desperate. My car had broke down and I was desperate. I had to figure out how to get my son to school. I had to figure out how to get to work and just other things that I needed to do. I'm a single mother, so it's not like I had another vehicle here. I had to do what I had to do. So I went to the dealership and yeah, got into a vehicle and thought it was a blessing. I thought it was a blessing because my credit was shot already due to student loans, due to credit cards, due to this garnishment, due to all of that. My credit was shot. So me being able to go to a reputable dealership and get an auto loan, get a good car, a good dependable car, which it is, I thought it was a blessing. But the Bible says the blessings of God maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrows to them. And I've been sorrowful, okay? It has been stressful. It has been a lot trying to make ends meet. My car payment is $477. My insurance now has increased. It's almost $200. And then you just got to think of maintenance, making sure, because it is a good car. It was a good car when I got it. The previous owner, which it was only one owner, kept up with the oil changes and all of that. So I've been trying to keep up with that type of stuff so that it can last long. But it's been stressful. Everything goes up, but the pay, okay? Rent has gone up. Everything has gone up. So I have been feeling like financially I am suffocating. Like my finances is choking me. I'm just calls after calls after calls, maxing out my credit cards to make sure I can do the oil changes to the cars, to make sure I can feed my son, to pay bills, and so on and so forth. So I had student loans. My student loans was over $23,000. And I work in the insurance industry, and we do insurance for cars, auto insurance, homeowners, so on and so forth. And a lot of times I find myself looking at houses and just like, dang, I'm never going to be able to get that because my credit is shot. It's no way I can pay $23,000 in student loans, $23,000 in an auto loan, $15,000 in this wage garnishment, and then these other little personal loans and credit card things that's sprinkled throughout my credit report. I'm like, there's no way I will ever be able to get my son a house. And it just, it's getting me emotional now. But it was just, I was just looking what can I do? Just the wheels in my head were turning. And I promise you all, the next day, I received a text message and it was saying that my student loans had been forgiven due to the school being a scam and really doing fraudulent activity. They forgave all of our loans for the students. If you went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, and there's some other art institutes too, between the years, I think it was 2007 and 2017, which I did go there. And yeah, all of our loans was forgiven because of the schemes and the scams that was going on at that school. That's a whole another story. So, but it was just like God was telling me, it is possible, because I thought the student loans was going to make it harder. But it's like the next day, not even 24 hours, I found out my student loans were forgiven. And that was one thing I had said in the past. I was like, I will only file bankruptcy if there's a way I can get these student loans off. I don't want to get everything all else off and I still have to deal with student loans. That was my sign, okay, for me, because for years, ever since this garnishment has been happening, and they've been chasing me, okay, and following me from job to job to job, I was like, the only way I will file bankruptcy is if I can find a way for these student loans to be included. I was researching and I read stuff about hardship and all of that. And I didn't know. I didn't know if it was possible because I had federal funded student loans. I didn't know if it was possible, but it happened. It happened like a couple of weeks ago, actually. For me, that was my cue. Like, let me go ahead and file this bankruptcy. End up reaching out to a lawyer to get some free consultations, a couple of lawyers, actually, to get free consultations. Talked to someone I knew personally who did my taxes, and she was like, why don't you go through legal aid? Because legal aid, they charge you according to your income. The lawyer that I had actually settled on, he was going to charge me about $1,633. And he said, well, you don't have to pay it out right now. I'll set you up on a payment plan, but that's how much it will cost. And to me, that wasn't that bad, especially when you compare it to $15,000, $23,000, just almost $50,000 in debt. Like 1633, that's not bad. My car payment is $477. I had already decided that the car that I have now, despite how good it is, okay, that I was going to let it go, because that $477, if I save that, I can buy a car right out with no car payments. I'm not the type that is stuck on how a car look and if it's this and if it's that. I'm not that type, okay? I just need it to run. I just need it to be dependable. That's all. When I need to take my son to the school, to the doctor, I need to go to work, wherever, I need it to run. I need to, I need that engine to crank up. But it is a good car, but I'm like, it's not worth what they're charging me for it. So I was already ready to give it up. And I'm like, well, if I give the car up, that is $477 plus $179 that I'm paying for insurance, plus the minimum payments that I was paying on credit cards. Over almost $800 a month that I am going to be saving once I file this bankruptcy. I knew that within a couple of months I can get me a little cheap, used vehicle, pay it out, don't have any payments, do what maintenance needs to be done on it, and I'm still going to come out paying less than what I would be paying for these loans and this garnishment. So, and the credit cards. That's how I got to filing for bankruptcy. So I filled out the application with legal aid the next day, which usually they say it could take about 5 to 7 days for you to hear back from somebody. I heard back the next day. And then the person that I talked to, she got some additional information from me, and she told me, she was like, well, we're short staffed, so I don't know if your case is going to be picked up, but if not, then we do have some other alternatives for you. We do have some other people that we're linked to, some lawyers that can take your case. We won't just leave you out hanging. But as far as legal aid, which charge according to your income, we don't know if we'll be able to pick it up, but she said I'm going to submit it to the intake people, and we'll go from there. So after I had talked to her, it was the next day. Okay, all this happened in a 3-day time frame. It was the next day that the intake people called me and my application was approved, and she told me, well, I'm gonna send you out the packet that you need to fill out, which I've been already doing my research, so I know there's a lot of paperwork that goes into filing a Chapter 7, to even see if you are qualified or approved or qualified, is that the word? Qualified to file a Chapter 7. I know there's different stipulations where your income is concerned, where your debts are concerned. So I know that there's a lot of paperwork and stuff that's involved. So I've already, while I'm waiting for the packet to come in the mail, I've already been getting things together, my tax information, my pay stubs, my banking information, and all of that. There's some side things that I want to start doing. I've been selling everything. I've sold all of my real jewelry. These are fake. I sold all of my real gold jewelry because I was trying to get the money together for the lawyer. I've been selling clothes on Mercari. I've been selling shoes on Mercari. I sold a wig. Okay, I sold a wig. That's where I'm at. That's the point that I'm at. Okay, that's where I am. It will sell a wig. I sold a wig. Okay. Whatever. I don't care because I had a habit of compulsive buying. So I have a lot of stuff that I don't use, I don't wear, I don't touch. So I've been selling it. Every time I sell an item on Mercari, I post about 5 more. I have a couple, well, more than a couple. I have quite a few other things that I'm going to sell. Okay. The thing now is I opened up a high yield savings account. The thing now is, being that the bankruptcy has started, I'm trying not to do anything too much different because I don't want it to be where I have more income that will cause me not to be approved for the Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So I've been real careful with how much I'm selling, and I was going to do DoorDash and Grubhub, but I've been holding off on that because I don't want to be making too much and it causes a delay in the process. It may not cause me to be disqualified or my case to be rejected, but it may cause a delay, and I'm ready for it to be over with. I'm ready to put it behind me so I can start building up my credit, so I can get me another car, start saving money, and working to save money. The only thing, if I lose the car I have now, I ain't gonna be able to do no DoorDash or Grubhub. But we gonna see how all this is going to work out. I know that it takes some time for them to come and pick up the car and all of that, so I'll do it until they come and pick it up. But right now I just want to stack money so I can go and get me a used vehicle, so that way I can be able to do these extra things to get my emergency fund and all that built up. So yeah, that is how I got to deciding that I'm going to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. When you selling wigs, okay, to get out of debt, yeah, it's serious. It's on and popping. That's where we at.